So guys, it's Paul here, ITFT Computers, IT for tomorrow. Today I wanted to show you the overclocking process of the Core i5-13600K. It's the same procedure for the 13600K as well, because it's the same CPU. And the main difference of my overclock is that, as you can see, the core voltage at the moment is not stable. So when you have no load on CPU, the core voltage will go all the way down, and you can have a look in here as well. So at the moment, have a look, it's 0.833 volt, which is great. I'll look 0.7. That's amazing. It basically means your CPU runs cool and consumes less power. So that's great. That's actually what I like. As you can see now, it jumped, so it's constantly changing. When you have a load, it's basically the same voltage at 1.3 volt or higher. Now, I'm not making an extreme overclocking. This is a very safe overclock and very stable overclock as well, and I'll show you all the details about it as well. So let's try the bench now, so you'll see what it does, and let's have a look. You see, right? The voltage went all the way up. Look, 1.279 volt, but it's still lower than 1.3 volt, and in stock settings it would go to 1.4 volt in some cases. So here is what I'm getting. It's almost 900. It actually was 900 in Windows 10. For some reason Windows 11 is a bit lower. I don't know why, but as you can have a look now, as you can see, it's again, now it's 0.7, and then it went up again because of the load, and now it's low again. So that's exactly what I wanted, because it makes less noise, and also it's very stable. It's a very light overclock, so I would say it's an extremely reliable overclock, because this computer is for our customer and we don't want it to have any problems. So basically I'm going to show you all the details. Okay, to start with, you have to make sure your BIOS version is exactly the same. So I've got an MSI motherboard, and this is the BIOS version, because all the overclock has been done for this particular BIOS. If you change the BIOS version, the voltages would change as well. So I would highly recommend to have the same BIOS version as mine, and I'll show you all the details of the motherboards later on. So let's restart the PC now, and let's go in the BIOS. Let's try that, and I'll show you all the details for like all the voltages and so on. So it's restarting now. So you can see the motherboard. So it's MSI PRO Z690-A Wi-Fi DDR4, and it's a Core i5-13600K. And pay attention to this BIOS version. It's very important, because before I had a different BIOS version and the voltages were completely different. So like all the settings were different. So if you have the same BIOS, then that's great. Well, the first thing is I'm going to activate this XMPI profile. It's already on. And then if you start it like this in easy mode, then go and press advanced on top to get into advanced mode. Go into settings, overclock. So here you go, you can see all my settings in overclock. This is manual. So what I've done is I put 55, so basically it's 5.5 gigahertz for the Core 0 and Core 2, and then all the rest is at 5.3 gigahertz. But the reason I've done it, because even though it's perfectly stable at 5.5 for all 6 cores, I prefer it this way because it gives better, basically it's more reliable, so this way, and there's absolutely no point to actually go higher. And it runs at 58 as well, so I could push it further in theory, but as you can understand, it won't be as stable, and this is a very light overclock, and I want it to be more stable than faster. So let's go further. E-core I left at auto. Here this one manual overclock from 3.9 gigahertz to 4.0. Again, it runs at 4.3 gigahertz, but I don't see any point of doing that because temperature will go up, and I don't want this because at the moment my overclock is very stable and it has low temperature. Now this one by default it was water cooled, but that's not water cooled, and I don't want to put too much voltage either, so let's leave it like this. It's perfectly fine. It's actually like plenty of the voltage for the CPU. Right, so we don't do any extreme overclocking here. So right, this is important. XMP profile enabled, has to be on, and you have to change the voltage as well for the RAM. Now let's go further. Now in advanced DRAM settings I have changed a few bits as well, and I'm going to show you exactly what I've changed. So all the rest is auto apart from just 2 settings here. So if you go into advanced mode, you'll see this one is disabled, that was auto, and this one is enabled, again that was auto. That's the only thing I've done for the RAM. Plus I activated XMP profile, which runs better now. Now that's the CPU spec here. So the default one will be auto, that's what I put. And the voltages, you can go even lower a bit, but again the idea of this overclock was to make it as stable as possible. So that's the core voltage, and there's a slight offset when you have a boost which is actually much lower than a stock voltages. So not only it runs reliably faster, it also runs much cooler than stock. So faster and cooler, that's amazing, isn't it? Now voltages for the RAM, here you go. I've changed this from auto. It should be 1.35 volt, not 1.2 volt, because you run higher clocks for the RAM, even though that's actually the default clocks. Now what else was it? Let's have a look. Yeah, for CPU, that's basically the main thing for CPU. And yeah, I think that's about it in here. So let's go further. Advanced CPU configuration. So that's all the settings. I have not changed anything in here, but I'll show you just in case. Now this one here, AVX control. Again, for some people that's very important to see all the settings here. So apart from that, I've changed I also changed the fan profiles. So as you can see, that's what I've done for pretty much all. So you put CPU on top, and that's what I've done for all the fans, and it's got a few fans actually, so it's below 1000 RPM, like around 1000 RPM when it's on idle. And what else do we have? So that's basically the main settings, and I'm going to show you my settings here. Not much has been changed in here. And yeah, so as you can see, the temperatures are quite low as well, so the voltage is very low. The CPU temperature is also very low actually on idle, so definitely very good overclock for your machine. So that's something I would recommend, that's for sure. Right, so yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. The machine has been tested for 3 days non-stop on a high CPU load and had no issues whatsoever. No crashing. Low temperatures were about 75-85 degrees, so it was like depending on the CPU load. Room temperature was about plus 20 degrees. So it's very important to have a cooling system which is very good for your CPU, ideally the water cooling or the large air cooler. And yeah, you can easily overclock the CPUs, very stable overclock, no issues whatsoever. Thank you.